There is a sequence of steps that you need to do, and you can repeat that process. And this is a really great business model because then you can charge on a project base, a fixed price project, if it's still recurring, but every month the client knows that they pay this amount and you just repeat and do that work. This means that you can just hire more people, train them, and you can really just scale. Hey guys, it's Linh Podetti here, helping you to achieve time freedom so you have more time for self, family, business, and life. Now, in today's video, I'm going to help you to start a virtual assistant's business even if you have $0. Now, make sure you watch the whole video because I share some vital tips along the way to help you start a business successfully. Okay, so let's get started. Let's start a business. Well, the first thing you need to do is to figure out what your experience is. So what industry have you got experience working in? Who do you know that has money that doesn't have time? And then finding time to talk to them and learn more about what you can help to offload from their plate. Because everyone is busy. Everyone lacks time. So in the VA business, it's a lucrative business. It's a business that is easy to do because everyone just needs more time. And so your challenge here or your task is to figure out who can pay you, who do you have experience in helping, and learning what is it that they need help with. What is it that they need to offload tasks to so that they could free up time to spend more time with their family or grow their own business. So the reason why you need to do that is so that you don't come out there thinking of an idea for yourself and thinking that, okay, I'm just going to push this idea out. Instead, you're finding people with a real problem so that if you can find them the solution or find the right people to do it, then they will pay you for it. So it's always good to start on the client side rather than starting on your side on what you want to do. But of course, I always encourage you to find something that you're passionate about or you're interested in. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to know how to do it, but you want to know that you know how to find the solution or you're excited about finding the solution for it. Because with the power of outsourcing, you don't have to depend on yourself. You can use other resources to help you. But yeah, you do want to start with doing something that you love, but also with something that you're experienced in. Now, the next thing you need to consider is your business model. So a lot of virtual assistants start off selling their time for money. So they basically work the hours and just do whatever the clients want and then just charge them by the hour. Now, with that business model, you know that there's going to be capacity issue. You're going to only have a limited time and you can only handle a X amount of clients. And also, it means if you're not working, you don't get paid. So ideally, it's not a really good business model to follow. Now, the next business model from that is that you can still be offering hourly basis and do all sorts of different tasks for the clients and charge them by the hour. But instead, this time, you hire a team. You have outsourced workers to do the work for you. So let's just say you were doing some social media work and you were charging people at $50 an hour. Now you then find someone that can do it cheaper, maybe at $10, maybe at $20. Whatever it is, as long as it's less than what you're charging, then you are making a profit from each of the hours that they're working. That means you can take on more clients, you can take on more work. Now, if you're a virtual assistant from the Philippines right now and you're watching this, then you could still be finding people that are cheaper than what you can charge. But then also it's about looking for clients that are willing to pay at a higher hourly rate. So if you're a Filipino offering virtual assistant and you're only looking for Filipino clients who are living in Philippines, then it's a very slim chance that you can make a profit because what they're willing to pay and what you can work for, there isn't any buffer there, there isn't any profitability there. But if you, no matter where you're from, you're looking to serve clients in first world countries, like you're serving Australian or American or Canadian, etc., then the hourly rate that they're willing to pay is higher, maybe $40, $50, etc. And that means that you have more buffer to finding people in cheaper countries to be able to do the work for you so that you could earn, I guess, the difference there. Now, if you're from Australia like myself, I'll explain to you how it pretty much worked for me. So when I was running a marketing agency, which really was like a VA business, I was the virtual assistant because I was project managing for the client, but I was considered as an agency because I was offering website development, SEO, graphic design, etc. Now, normally a client in Australia would pay upwards of $100 an hour, or even $150, okay, maybe as low as $75. But I came across at $45, which is equivalent to what they would normally pay like a marketing local assistant. And for that amount, I would then get things done from a web developer, graphic designer from the Philippines at a cheaper rate. Now, I can't hire someone in Australia to do web development or graphic design for less than $50, but I can definitely get those people from overseas to do that work. So I was still able to offer at a really good rate to the client. It means that they were paying $45 instead of $100 or $75, etc. They were still getting the good quality of work because I'm project managing it. I'm hiring people that are cheaper, but they're still very qualified and experienced. But I'm just making sure that I understand the job really well, checking the work, and the client still gets the result. They get to pay cheaper. And that's how I started the successful virtual assistant business back in 2011. Now, the next business model that you might want to consider is focusing on a particular service so that you can really scale. So if you start a business and you don't just do all sorts of services, but you only do a specific service, like maybe you produce YouTube videos or you do YouTube marketing for business owners, then there's really an A to B kind of process. I mean, like, not to A to B, but there is a sequence of steps that you need to do, and you can repeat that process. And this is a really great business model because then you can charge on a project base, a fixed price project, if it's still recurring, but every month the client knows that they pay this amount and you just repeat and do that work. This means that you can just hire more people, train them, and you can really just scale, and you can get, find partners to refer you, and you just sell this particular service. So this is a really scalable business model because it's repetitive versus the hourly rate where you're still custom making or customizing each of the quotes for different clients, asking for different things. But when you come up with a particular service or a niche, this makes your business model a lot easier to scale. Okay, so where do you hire the people to help you in your virtual assistant business? So assuming that you agree with me, it's not about selling your time anymore, but you really need to scale a team of virtual assistant. Then where you can find people is, if you want to start off with project-based, then there are sites like Upwork, Fiverr, heaps out there, Freelancer, Elance, whatever it is. You can find people just to do project-based. But as you scale and you want stability and you want to have reliability, that these people will keep coming back, or knowing that you can count on them to work between this time and this time, then you need to find someone more on an ongoing basis. So for example, sites like onlinejobs.ph and other sites. For us, we even find people on Facebook groups, Filipino Facebook groups, that people are looking for jobs. But overall, you're looking for permanent staff. So you're looking for people that are willing to work long term. So you go to a different site for that. Now, the reason why I couldn't mention a lot of sites is because I only hire people in the Philippines. So I've got a limited number of sites that I go to. However, if you're from another country, I have students in my productizekit.com community that gets mentored by me. He wants to hire people from Nigeria. Now, in Nigeria, maybe there's job sites that you can find people on there. But yeah, the other question people always ask is like, where do you hire VAs? Why do you only hire from the Philippines? Well, you can really hire people from anywhere. It's just as long as you understand how to work with them, you know their culture, you know how to work with them. And after years of experience working with Filipinos, it's just easy for me to work with them. I'm Vietnamese and not Filipino, and now I can work with Vietnamese as well, but it's just that there's still so many people that I can create jobs for in the Philippines, and I work well with them and I know how to work with them. I'm just sticking to that. But for you, maybe your passion is to create virtual assistant jobs for people in your own country. So then, I encourage you to look into that and look for sites that specifically offer resources from those countries so that you could help them have a job as well. So I hope you are learning and enjoying my tips so far, but I also have a free training session that you can join me on. It's at outsourcingangel.com/free training. This is where I'm going to give you even more training on how you can outsource and hire a virtual assistant. Okay, so once you've got other virtual assistants to help your virtual assistant business, then how do you actually work with them? Well, it really comes down to, what tasks do you want them to do? Create those processes, create systems, and set your expectation. Know what time you want them to work, know what deliverable that you want, and start to create and brainstorm all your instructions and tutorials so that you can train them. But in order to work with them though, you do need to set up some tools. So for example, you need a communications tool. So where are you going to chat with them? If you jump around from WhatsApp to Facebook and all that, which is not really ideal because they're not really a work messaging app. It's not very user friendly to be able to find documents and attachments easily. So I would recommend something like Slack. So we were using Skype for a long time, but once again, if you compare Slack to Skype, Slack is much more helpful, useful, because there's so many different channels that you can create to talk about different topics, and you can create threads so that you don't get misunderstanding about what are we actually communicating about. So Slack is really great for work environment kind of communication. And another tool that will be useful is somewhere that you can manage the tasks with your virtual assistant. So, if you're delivering work to your client, then you want to know where things are at. You want to assign tasks. You want to set delivery due dates. You want to attach things in there and not get confused with, if you just use emails, it can get lost. And whereas with the task management system, you can create a lot of to-dos, different categories, different tasks, and you really know where things are at. Now, another tool that's really useful is a screencast recording tool. So something like Screencast-O-Matic or Loom. There are different types of screencast tools out there, but I personally have been using Loom lately. That's because it's really easy to use. Once you install it into your web browser, or even as an app, you can just click on it and then it starts to give you an option to record your screen. You can record it with your face on the video, which even gives it more context and emotions, and people will get it more, or just purely screencasting the screen. So it shows the movements of what you're talking about. Because no matter who you're working with, even if you're working with someone local, but if you're on the phone and explaining, on that page over there where it's red sign, whatever, it can get so confusing because you don't know what you're talking about. But if you're really screencasting your screen and showing the mouse over areas that you're talking about, then no one can really misunderstand that. So, don't get lazy when it comes to giving instructions, because sometimes people are like, I'm just going to send a quick message on a call or send an email, but then you're just going to waste more time in project managing and getting the wrong work done and then having to give feedback again and then going back and forth. Whereas let's save time by giving the correct instructions first, by screenshotting or screen videoing your instruction, and then you can even use those instructions for more people to work with you in the future. So you can start to create, all your tutorials, which will form your process. And so even if that virtual assistant can't work with you anymore, then you're not, stuck. That a new virtual assistant can just watch those videos. Now, when it comes to scaling your virtual assistant, as you hire more VAs, you're going to see that you're going to need to learn how to really manage them, how to, retain them. And so in the free training that I'm going to share with you, we're going to go through a few tips for you on how to, get feedback from your virtual assistant, how to actually motivate them to work with you by being a great leader. Because when it comes to virtual assistant, it's the same as building a company with staff. It's like, how do you actually take care of them? How do you train them? How do you make sure that they don't just go back to you for questions all the time, and actually add value? And so I'd love to invite you once again to the free training over here so that you can learn more about how to outsource to a virtual assistant. So that's it, guys. I hope that you've gained some insights on how to work with a virtual assistant to build your virtual assistant's business. But if you have any more questions about how to build your own virtual assistant's business, let me know in the comments below. If you want to watch more content like this, check out some videos here.